Hello everyone, welcome to my corner of the world. I've just come on a little bit early, but I just wanted to make sure that my picture was all good and it was in the right orientation and we weren't all going to be looking sideways at it. So here we are, November the 10th, 9th, 10th. That means we're a third of the way through November. Gee, I can't believe it. Anyway, if you are out there, perhaps you'll just go ahead and let me know in the chat there on the right-hand side, should be on the right-hand side of your screen. Just let me know that you're there and that I'm not talking to myself today. Although I do talk to myself quite a lot, actually. But anyway, so let's see what we're going to do today. So I was, doing a little bit of surfing and I came across a delightful little treat box, which should just be perfect for the upcoming holidays. And it came from Elaine Smith Designs, and I'd like to thank her for sharing. And so I thought, well, maybe I could do, one of those with the Ferrero Rocher. Now, this is from my little box of bits. I have no idea how old this one is, and certainly you wouldn't want to eat it because it's been hanging around an awful long time. But it's perfect to just have one to be able to do this. And it struck me, and you'll see what I mean when we do these, that they would be perfect to hang on your Christmas tree, or you could put it as a table favor. And so I'm going to see how I get on, and then with like one for Thanksgiving, and then if there's time, I'll do one for Christmas. So. Right, so we're going to start with some cardstock, and we need a piece that is, let's see, 3 by 4. So I'm just going to cut this piece 3 by 4 inches. And then we're going to do a quick bit of scoring. And what I'll do when I've finished, I'll put the measurements on the below the video, and then you'll be able to make some yourself. So we're going to, on this long side, we're going to do a score at 1/2 of an inch. 1/2 of an inch, then 1 3/4. Oops, don't use the cutter, Cindy, you're going to be cross then. 2 1/4, 2 1/4, and 3 1/2. And you'll see what that brings us in a sec. And then we're going to do a 1/2 inch on the 3-inch side. So, hello, Eastern Girls Crafting. Well, thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time. So, let me just work on this darker mat, and then you'll be able to see what we're doing. So hopefully you'll see that we've got our score lines in place. I'm going to just come in a little bit more. There we go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up to that score line on both sides. So I'm making some little tabs like this, like that. And then I'm just going to go back and take the corners off of the tabs. Not this piece, just the tabs. and that makes for sort of neater boxes, because you're just losing some of the extra card, the bulk. So that gives us a little, this is going to make a little box. Let's get rid of those bits. And so the box will be to fit in the little Ferrero Rocher. So, well, let's go ahead. So I'm just kind of making this from the notes that Elaine Smith Designs gave, and we're just hope and pray that I have understood them correctly. So when we've got our little score lines in like that, so we're going to make this little box, and we're going to cut a hole on one side. So this here, it kind of just fits in snugly. So this is like 1 1/4 inches. As I say, that fits there really snugly. And we're going to put it, it doesn't matter which side because they're both the same, but we're just going to cut a hole on one side. And I've got to make sure that I'm going between the lines and try and make it center as possible. Let's see. Okay. So now we've got our little hole, we can start assembling the box. So I want to make sure that this is neat, one side. So I don't need those pieces. I'm going to get rid of those. And so that will come down like that. Those 2 side pieces will go in. That will come up. Those side pieces will go in like that. So that's what we're aiming for. And then that will kind of sit in there like that. Hope that's making sense. If it is, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. Right, so let's see. Now we need to do a bit of sticking. So let's see. So that can go like that. And that can go like that. Or should I just leave them to the outside? No, I'll tell you what, we'll stick them on the inside. See where we get with that. So I'm just using some liquid glue. I might have to let this sit for a few moments to set up, because it doesn't stick as quickly as using tape, but it is quite quick. There we go. Ah, just a sec, had a thought. I got a paper clip handy. Let's see. So I'm just lining up that cut edge with the fold. Got another paper clip there. I was using that for another project. Good job I didn't tidy up after myself, isn't it? And then we're just, that's going to tuck in like that. And then we're just bring this down, tuck it inside. It's not the most elegant way of doing it. I could have done it a better way, couldn't I? There. So let's just run some adhesive on the edge there. And make sure it's nice and square. And put some on the ends. Right. So there's our little box, which our little chocolate will sit in. Like that. I'm just going to set that aside for a few moments. So we said we'd do an autumn theme. So I've got this lovely paper, which is called Iconic Celebrations. And we've got some leaves, we've got some, what do they call those? Acorns. What else do we, oh, we've got some pumpkins. So we can decorate, let's see if I got a bigger bit of pumpkin paper. Oh, there's another bit. But looks, I've had a chew of that. I've done something with that and taken a chunk out of it. Oh, here we go. We got another piece here. So, what shall I use to decorate my piece? Shall I use leaves, pumpkins, or acorns? So you just pop that in the chat there. It takes a few moments for it to come through, but I'll do the next bit while I wait for those bits to come through. Okay. So leaves, pumpkins, acorns. That's all we want to know. Right. So the next thing we need is a strip that is 2 inches wide by 9.5. So I've got this piece. Now we're going to be using, what did I do with it? Ah, there it is. I'm going to be using this topper punch. And so we can do a 2-inch strip, but with this topper punch, you need to be quite accurate, and it needs to be just a slight hair under the 2 inches. And I know that through using them for a long time. So there's 2 inches, and then we're just going to cut this to 9.5. 9.5. And then we're going to score at 4. At 4, get that out of the way there. Score that at 4 and 5 1/4. 5 1/4. There. Right. Now, put our fold in, and I'm going to make sure that those edges line up before I put a hard fold in. There we go. So, nobody got a preference for what we're going to do, what paper we want to use? So then what this does is that sits in there like that. Like that. And then that will sit like that. And then that comes up like that. And can you see what I meant earlier about how that would make, because it's ever so light, it doesn't weigh anything at all. You could actually, with a piece of twine or a piece of ribbon, you could actually hang some of those on your Christmas tree. And that would be a really sweet thing. So I don't know, I mean, I've lived here in the States for 23 years and I've never come across chocolate hanging on the tree. But back in the UK, my home country, we used to put chocolate on the tree, little chocolate pits on the tree every year. So we're just going to pop that in and just like that. Get rid of my bits. There we go. I'm trying to be good. Normally I sweep those on the floor. And then I look down afterwards and I think, oh, wish I hadn't done that. Okay. So, here we go. There's the pumpkins. Bearing in mind we're thinking about Thanksgiving. Here's the acorns. I think that is a weeny bit on the pale side. I don't know about anybody else against this. If I'd used a darker card, I think maybe that would have been a bit better. Or we can do leaves. So since nobody has voted, I think I'm going to go for autumn leaves. Or pumpkins. Let's see. Let's do pumpkins. So since that is 2 inches wide, that piece of card, I'm going to cut my piece of paper at 1 7/8. There we go. And that will just give me a little border, a little elegant border there like that. And then we need a bit of a measure here. So that's 3 1/2. So if I cut that 3 3/8, 3 3/8. Okay. Well, that didn't go, did it? 3 1/8, idiot. What a numpty, 3 1/8. I don't know what I was looking at on my ruler. There we go. And I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to cover both sides. So I'm going to go just 1 7/8. And it was 3 1/8, wasn't it? 3 1/8. So there's my 2 pieces. So I'm just going to stick these down. There we go. So, and then this paper doesn't appear to have a direction. But normally what I would make sure I would stick it down, because then make sure that they both are the right way up when the piece is together. There. Like that. Oh, that's moved. There we go. That's the beauty of using liquid adhesive, is that you get a little bit of working room. So I'm just going to use some double-sided tape for this box and some liquid glue at the same time. I used to do that a lot, but since I've been working on junk journals, I found that it was it made a better finish rather than just using liquid or double-sided. So I kind of got back into the habit of using for big construction. It's like, you know, this has got to just be a little bit more robust than simply sticking it on. Right. Let's see. Right. So if we just have that. Like that. And then we need to put some adhesive on the sides, like that. I think it needs to have a little bit of an adjustment on the width here, but hey. All right. So that goes in there like that. Okay, see how I mean about it being cute? You could have that on your table, and you could put the person's name on it on the front, or you could, as I say, pop it on your Christmas tree and just have a little chocolate gift for somebody to have. So now we need to decorate it up. Now then, I got this left over from when I punched. So let's see. I've got this little, I've got a stamp here that says, just for you. You can see I've not used it before, so let's just go ahead and stick the bits, the label on the back, so I know that I'm doing the right, got it the right way up. Gosh, we're doing very well. 21 minutes, and you could actually do a lot of these in a very short space of time. You could do your pre-cutting, and then I'm not having any luck with this, am I? And then you can do your assembly. And if you do your pre-cutting, you could always sit in front of the TV and do your assembly if you had a lot to do. Okay, let's see. We need something to stamp it on, and we need something to a colour. Let's see. Have I got? Well, let's use this Early Espresso. I love this colour. To use it instead of like using black. It's a nice alternative. Just for you. We've got some scrumptious, look at this, glimmer paper. So if that's 1 1/4, we need 1 1/2 to go in, just for you. Like that. And I use a few glue dots to hold this down on this paper. 1, 2, there, like that. Give it a good squeeze to make sure that that's stuck down. And then we're going to have some string or twine. Well, I'm just going to use some linen thread, like that. We can just slot it through our little hole there. And I've cut this long enough that you could actually hang it on your tree. Whee! And we'll pop some double-sided little pads there. And I've also got, let's see, let's cut a strip off of here. And then I can just slot it in my little punch. And we can add an extra level of lusciousness. So let's go ahead and just put a glue dot down. Oops. We have that sticking up like that. Just for you. So what do you think to that one? I'm loving it. I don't know about you. Go ahead, give me a thumbs up if you like that one. So what is it? Just not even 1:30 yet. How about we quickly make a Christmas themed one and see how we like that. So this time I'm a bit better organized in as much as I know what we're going to do. So we're going to have, this time I'm going to use a different paper. I am going to use this paper. This is like the traditional Christmas papers. And I wondered about, I mean, there's a lovely one with the Christmas stockings. There's another cute one with the little deers, and I'm just thinking, how much would I see? Oh, I could get a nice little deer, little deer in there, or we could get a stocking. There's candles. Let's do the stocking. Let us do the stocking one. Right. So that's going to go on there. So we need 2 inches here by 9.5. So I just want to show you how the same idea can work. You could do like Easter. Let's say you could get some little chocolate Easter eggs instead of the Ferrero Rocher. You could do those for that. A baby shower. How about a baby shower? They would be really cute for a baby shower. And a birthday party would be, you know, if you wanted to do a little something for a birthday. You could just pick your colours. 5 1/4. Yep, you can just pick your colours and take it from there. Now then, let's see. I need this. I probably need to get rid of that strip so I can get my let's see if I can, just 1 7/8 we said we needed, didn't we? Lovely. I'd be able to get my, look at that. So when I get there, I can pick, so I'm gonna cut there. And then I'm just going to trim this back down again. Let's see what I did last time. 3 1/8. So 3 1/8. Let's just double check. Yeah, 3 1/8. So 3 1/8 there. And I need to do, I'll probably use these little bows somewhere else. So 3 1/8 here. So there we actually fussy cutted it cut, however you want to say it, our feature pieces so that they'll be center stage. It's a bit hungry on paper, but you know, it's Christmas after all. Now then, so we need another piece that's going to be 3 inches by 4, making this one slightly differently, a different order, and then we are going to score at 1/2 inch, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, and 3 1/2. 3 1/2. There we go. And then we're going to do 1/2 inch on each side. Okay, so that's all our bits. Let's get my little. Now then, I'm going to cut my circle out here. There. And then just trim up each of those score lines and notch to take the extra bulk out. How am I doing so far? Some of you are a bit shy today. No comments? How about any questions? We got a lovely sunny day. We've been really excited here in North Texas because we've had rain, and in some parts of the world they've had more than enough rain, but in our part of the world we went without rain for what, 5, maybe nearly 6 weeks, and the gardens do suffer. Right. Now there's lots of different papers that you could choose to use and just pull out some of the colours. That's all I did with this paper. I looked to see what colours were in this paper, and then I just pulled out some card to go with it. And I'm going to try and be a little bit more sophisticated about putting this box together, because I think I was a bit cack-handed when I did the other one. There must be a simpler way of doing things. Sometimes I look and think, oh, there must be a simpler way of doing it. Right, so there we're going to do the box here. And so I want to get rid of some of the tabs. So I'm going to get rid of these 2 tabs here, just to cut the bulk down. Okay. Right, so if I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this bit down first. I think this was the bit I almost stuck down last time, and I think that's why it made me cack-handed to put it all together. Right, let's stick my bone folder in there and give that a good old press down, just make it stick. Then we're just going to slot those in. Oh, much better. Much better way of doing it than the other way I did it the other one. See, so like that. So all I did was I put the side tabs in, and this is the bottom, so because we want the top to look neat and tidy, so all the cut edges are sort of facing down, and we just put some on there. And I'm not messing around trying to put adhesive on tabs. Oh, I think you'll agree, if you saw me do the first one, that this is probably a much more elegant way of doing it. Okay, and so we get that double-sided tape again, and I'm going to go ahead again and use the, oh gosh, it is sticky, this tape, and use liquid as well as the tape. Give that a bit of a, there. See, I didn't, oh, I just realised, I say I didn't do something, and I didn't, did I? Where's my other punch? Okay, so there are a little box there. We let that set up for a few moments. So this is our strip, like that. Get rid of the bits. And then we can stick this on. And this will give me a chance to show you about what I meant about making sure it's the right way up. So it's the right way up on both sides. Because your natural inclination, at least mine would be to kind of stick this there like that. And that means that this one would be the right way up and this one would be upside down. So I'm going to flip this round and put this on what appears to be, well, it's going to be the right way up. Oof. There we go. Just a sec. There we go. There we are. And then get some glue on here. Get that stuck in. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. We have a little airfield nearby, and it has got like a memorial flight of Second World War aircraft. And this time of year they go up and they're doing displays, or they are practicing. And it is lovely to see that memorial flight. And my father, when my dad was in the Royal Air Force, and he was a career, and I have a nephew who's also in the Royal Air Force now, he's a pilot. So there we go. So let's just, because I've only got one Ferrero Rocher, so we're just going to pop that in there like that. I'm going to let that set up. Now we could, I've got here in this stamp set, I've got Happy Holidays. And I wonder if we could just do a little bit of something different for the front of this one. So there's Happy Holidays. And we get a block. I think, yes, that's too small. Right, oh, I've just had a thought. Let's go ahead, get a scrap of paper. here. And I'll use green this time. I'll use the dark green. Okay. Oh, that don't look as though it's going to give us a good result. Oh, that's because I didn't clean it, because it's the first time I've used this one. So I always like to give them a little clean the first time, just to take off any, if there's like any manufacturing residue. They work perfectly after I've given them a bit of a clean. Okay. Right, so there's Happy Holidays. And I think I have a punch that goes with this, but I'm going to just cut the top piece off. And where did I had, well, let's see, will that go on a 1.5? Oh, maybe. Let's cut another little circle. And I don't know what else I've got that's sort of Christmassy. So I think what I might just do is I might just put another one of these in there. And what did I do with my... Well, I've put these down somewhere. But I always have a spare roll. I always have 2 rolls open because you just never know. So we'll do that and that to stick it on. And then I know what I do have that we could use. Look at these. That would just go perfect up there, wouldn't it? Make it look like it's pinned onto there. Then Happy Holidays. I didn't have a Merry Christmas that was small enough. I'd prefer to use Merry Christmas, but hey, it's not to everybody's liking, so we'll just go with Happy Holidays. So speaking of the memorial flight, I just want to sort of say about those who defended our country, this country, as well as my home country, and thank them for their sacrifice. And that tomorrow is Armistice Day, as we call it in the UK. And so we'll be thinking of them tomorrow. Now I could put a piece of ribbon in there. So I lost a great uncle in the Second World War as a result of his injuries in the Dunkirk evacuation. Needless to say, I never met him, but my great aunt Alice, I was very fond of. There. So I think, how are we doing for time? Oh, perfect, about 45 minutes. So I like to keep these to about 45 minutes to an hour tops. Let's clear the mess. So, what did you think? Did you enjoy our little gift bags or little gifts or treat holders? They certainly, as you can see, I've made 2 in 45 minutes, not having made one before. And we've got a version for Thanksgiving. Let's bring you in. Don't get seasick now. There we go. So we've got a version for Christmas and a version for Thanksgiving. And as I say, you could do them for Easter, July the 4th. Get your old red, white and blue going. And then just sort of find some sweeties that you can pop inside. Well, I'd like to thank Elaine Smith Designs for the inspiration. I've certainly enjoyed making them. And if you've enjoyed joining me, perhaps you'll just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I certainly appreciate you choosing to spend some time with me. Thank you for commenting, Eastern Girls Crafting. And I will look forward to seeing you next week at the same time with another idea. Well, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and as I say, I'll see you next week. Bye bye for now.